10 things parents say that break a student's intelligence. Have you ever considered that the very air your child breathes is filled with a vocabulary that sculpts their destiny? That the casual phrases you utter today are not merely passing comments, but foundational stones in the temple of their self-worth? The truth is startling, yet undeniably powerful. The way we talk to our children becomes their inner voice. Think about that for a moment. As the great educator Peggy O'Mara suggested, the words you speak today become the whispers, the echoes, and the fundamental narratives your child carries into adulthood. In the relentless rush of modern life, under the pressure of work, bills, and endless digital demands, it is tragically easy to let frustration guide our tongues. We reach for phrases that offer immediate relief, a momentary silencing of a challenge, but in doing so, we might be quietly tearing down the very core of our child's confidence, strength, and resilience. This is not a message of guilt, but a call to consciousness. This is an invitation to swap the language of limitation for the lexicon of liberation. We stand here today to reveal 10 everyday things parents say that break a child's confidence, and more critically, we will provide powerful, proven alternatives, actionable tools to replace those wounds with words that build strength, resilience, and unshakable self-belief. Stay tuned, because by the end of this vital conversation, you will never look at your words the same way again, understanding that your voice is the most profound motivational tool your child will ever encounter. 1. The comparison trap, the theft of joy and identity. Imagine a scene played out in millions of homes. A child brings home a B on a math test, seeking affirmation, yet is met with a weary sigh and the stinging question, "Why can't you be more like your brother-sister?" To the weary parent, this may feel like a necessary prod, a spark of motivation. But how does it land upon the child's sensitive spirit? It lands as rejection. It is a declaration that who they are, in their unique brilliance, is not enough. This act of comparison is a profound disservice to both children involved. Research shows that siblings who are perpetually compared often develop deep-seated rivalry, resentment, and a fragile self-esteem. Comparison, as the enduring philosophical quote suggests, is truly the thief of joy. It forces children into an endless, exhausting race for approval where the finish line constantly moves. When we hold up one child's achievement as the standard for another, we fail to recognize the immutable truth found in the ancient proverb, "Every house must be built on its own foundations." Furthermore, comparing a child's outcome to another's success fundamentally undermines the value of their individual journey. It teaches them that their worth is conditional upon matching someone else's performance, rather than recognizing their own inherent value and effort. The actionable alternative, the word of affirmation that rebuilds the spirit, is simple yet revolutionary. "I see how hard you worked. Let's figure out together what the next step is to get even better." By affirming the effort and focusing on process over outcome, we guide them toward continuous improvement without crushing their spirit. 2. The label effect, stamping identity onto behavior. The domestic scene unfolds. A child is sprawled on the couch, avoiding the chore list. Frustrated, we reach for the simplest, most damaging indictment, "You're so lazy." At this moment, the child's young brain processes this statement not as a comment on their temporary inaction, but as a permanent fact about their being. "This is who I am." This is the tyranny of the negative label. Developmental psychology studies confirm a deeply troubling pattern. Negative labels do not correct behavior, they reinforce it. Labels tragically become identity. By branding a child as lazy, messy, or difficult, we give them a role to play, creating a self-fulfilling prophecy rooted in shame rather than encouraging responsibility. The Bible reminds us in Proverbs 18:21, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue." When we use our tongue to label our children, we are exercising profound power over their self-perception, often unknowingly speaking death into their potential. To be truly actionable and educative, we must separate the deed from the doer. We must describe the action we observe, not define the person. Instead of issuing a label, issue an invitation to cooperation and planning. "I notice you haven't started your chores. Let's make a plan. Would you like to start with the toys or the clothes?" This simple shift guides behavior and fosters accountability without ever stamping a permanent, negative identity onto the child. We have only just begun to excavate the deeply ingrained verbal habits that subtly erode our children's confidence. If this message is resonating with the parent, the grandparent, or the educator in you, I urge you to pause for a moment. This work of intentional parenting is crucial, and it deserves to reach every corner of our community. Please take a moment now to subscribe to our channel, like this video, comment below with a word that empowered you today, and share this message with 3 other parents who need this transformational knowledge. Your engagement ensures this vital conversation continues to build up families globally. 3. Emotional invalidation, the suppression of the spirit. Consider the scenario of sudden, overwhelming grief. A 5-year-old drops her ice cream cone and tears immediately well up. Our immediate reactive impulse is often dismissive. Stop crying, it's not a big deal. While to our adult perspective, a melting scoop of sugar is minor, to her little brain, it is a big deal. By dismissing her sadness, we teach her a devastating lesson: to suppress her emotions instead of processing them. This is the essence of emotional invalidation, and its impact is profound and long-lasting. Research confirms that children who are habitually emotionally invalidated often grow up struggling significantly with empathy and emotional regulation. They learn that their inner world is unsafe and that their feelings are burdens to be hidden. This suppression is the fertile ground for future anxiety and disconnection. As the enduring quote from Khalil Gibran reminds us, "The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain." We must allow the carving of sorrow, we must allow the feeling. Our goal is not to eliminate sadness, but to validate the experience before moving toward resolution. The actionable, emotionally intelligent alternative is to connect with their pain first. "I can see you're sad about your ice cream. It's okay to feel upset. Let's see what we can do." This validation does not obligate you to solve the problem instantly, but it teaches the child that their feelings matter and that their distress is tolerable and manageable. 4. Fixed mindset damage, the myth of static intelligence. We come now to a point that directly undermines the child's relationship with learning itself. The homework struggle is universal, and frustration often drives the parent to utter the most damaging phrase of all: "You'll never get this if you keep messing up." This is not just impatience, this is the unwitting delivery of a fixed mindset. Pioneering work by psychologist Carol Dweck has demonstrated that such words convince children that intelligence is static, a fixed trait they either possess or lack. When a child believes intelligence is fixed, the moment they encounter a difficulty, they stop trying. Why try if effort is futile against an unchangeable limitation? This fixed mindset paralyzes potential, convincing the child that their failures are proof of permanent inadequacy. It is the antithesis of the spirit we find in the book of Philippians, which encourages us that "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." Philippians 4:13. We must become evangelists for the growth mindset. We must teach them that struggle is not a sign of weakness, but a vital component of progress. The actionable solution is to reframe challenge as data. Math can be tricky. Mistakes are proof you're learning. Let's try again together. By doing this, we transform the error from an end point into a stepping stone, teaching them that resilience and effort are the true measures of intellect. 5. Curiosity killer, shutting down the search for wisdom. Dinner time often becomes a battlefield, especially when a child, driven by natural inquiry, asks, "Why do I have to eat vegetables?" The tired, defensive parental response is tragically simple: "Because I said so." While this phrase efficiently ends the argument, it simultaneously shuts down curiosity. When children are raised in an environment where their whys are met with dismissive demands, they learn that questioning authority and seeking deeper understanding is discouraged. The long-term cost is significant. Children raised without explanations often lack critical thinking and decision-making skills. They become passive recipients of information rather than active explorers of truth. Proverbs 4:7 implores us to seek understanding. The beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom, and whatever you get insight. We stifle that search for insight when we replace reason with sheer authoritarian fiat. The actionable, educative alternative is to replace the demand with documentation and cooperation. Vegetables give your body vitamins to grow strong. You don't have to like them all, but let's find some you do enjoy. This approach builds understanding, fosters cooperation, and validates the child's intelligent inquiry. 6. Dismissing personality, the mask of the hidden self. A child watches a cartoon and weeps when a character suffers, demonstrating deep empathy. An adult, perhaps uncomfortable with the intensity of the emotion, laughs it off. You're too sensitive. What is intended as harmless teasing is received by the child as a fundamental indictment. There's something wrong with me. This dismissal forces the child to believe that their innate temperament is flawed, encouraging them to hide their true, deep-feeling selves. Yet, sensitivity is not a flaw. It is a profoundly human strength. In fact, sensitivity is linked with higher empathy and creativity. By mocking or minimizing it, we risk stifling the very qualities that make them profoundly human and innovative. We should remember the wisdom of the ancient spiritual texts, which teach us that every spirit is fearfully and wonderfully made. The actionable shift is to reframe this trait as a beautiful strength. You have such a big heart. It's beautiful that you feel deeply. This simple sentence transforms a perceived weakness into an acknowledged asset, validating their spirit and cultivating authenticity. We are halfway through these 10 profound revelations, recognizing the immense weight and potential carried by our daily language. If you are feeling challenged and inspired by the actionable steps we are discussing, you are part of a growing community dedicated to conscious parenting. Before we dive into the final 4 statements, help us amplify this vital message. Hit that like button to boost this video. Subscribe if you haven't already joined our family, and comment with your biggest takeaway so far. Which phrase are you committing to eliminate from your vocabulary this week? And please, share this video widely. Your one click can change a family's entire future trajectory. 7. Identity wound, confusing behavior with being. The moment of parental rage or intense disappointment often manifests in the gravest verbal attack. "You're such a disappointment." This phrase is deadly because it does not target the transgression, the broken rule, or the poor choice. It attacks the child's identity itself. When a parent says, "You are a disappointment," the result is devastating. Children internalize shame and grow up characterized by either debilitating perfectionism or crushing self-hate. They learn that their worth is perpetually precarious and can be revoked by a single mistake. This phrase violates the fundamental principle that every parent must uphold: the separation of the behavior from the child's inherent worth. The biblical narrative of forgiveness and unconditional love provides a powerful counter-narrative, reminding us that even when we stumble, our value remains intact. As the old proverb dictates, "A good deed lasts for a day, but a good character lasts forever." We must affirm the character even when the deed is poor. The actionable, restorative alternative insists on separating the choice from the child. "I didn't like the choice you made, but I believe you'll make a better one next time." Always, we must separate the behavior from the child's worth. 8. Shutting down potential, the supremacy of self-belief. We often see potential not in the effort, but only in the immediate success. At the sports field, a child misses a goal or struggles with a skill, and we mutter, "You're just not good at sports." What follows this fatal declaration? They stop trying. The belief in innate talent triumphs over the courage to persevere. The educational data is clear. Research shows that a child's self-belief predicts future achievement more strongly than raw talent. When a parent crushes self-belief, they extinguish the engine of persistence. The quote attributed to Henry Ford speaks volumes: "Whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right." Our job as parents is to fuel the "I can" belief, even when the evidence is momentarily discouraging. The actionable word of encouragement focuses on the iterative process, honoring the effort expended in the face of difficulty. "That was tough." But every athlete starts by missing. Want to practice together? Encouragement is the indispensable fuel for perseverance. 9. Gendered harm, the illusion of emotional strength. When a young child, a son or a daughter, scrapes a knee and begins to cry, our society often imposes archaic, damaging gender expectations. Come on, big boys, girls don't cry. The unspoken, embedded message is poisonous. Boys must suppress their feelings to be strong, while girls must uphold an image of perpetual fortitude. Both boys and girls lose in this exchange. Studies compellingly show that emotional suppression later in life leads directly to anxiety, depression, and poor relationships. When we tell a child that they are not allowed to express pain, we are not teaching courage. We are creating a blueprint for future emotional dysfunction. We are neglecting the biblical wisdom that teaches us there is a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. Ecclesiastes 3:4. Allowing tears is a sign of humanity, not weakness. The truly courageous, actionable alternative validates the pain while providing comfort and a constructive way forward. It's okay to cry when you're hurt. Let's clean it up, and I'll stay with you until you feel better. This teaches genuine courage, the courage to feel deeply, not the weakness of emotional denial. 10. The dream crusher, extinguishing the light of ambition. Finally, we arrive at the most heartbreaking moment, when a teenager dares to voice a grand, perhaps improbable, ambition, such as wanting to be an artist, and the parent laughs with crushing pragmatism. You'll never make it in that field. Dreams crushed at home are rarely rebuilt. When a parent, the child's primary source of security and vision, vetoes their future, the child often develops imposter syndrome and a profound fear of risk. They are conditioned to believe that aspiration is synonymous with failure and that the only safe path is the one deemed acceptable by others. We must remember that every great innovation, every enduring work of art, and every societal transformation began as a dream that someone else might have dismissed as impossible. The actionable, inspiring alternative is not to promise them success that is impossible, but to promise them support. Our role is to explore the path, not to judge the destination. That's a big dream. If it matters to you, let's explore what steps it takes to get there. You don't have to promise success, but you can promise support. The legacy of intentionality. My friends, architects of tomorrow, we have navigated the 10 verbal pitfalls that shatter the confidence of our children. We have seen how phrases rooted in frustration, impatience, or societal convention can inflict wounds that last a lifetime, manifesting as shame, anxiety, and a fixed belief in their own limitations. But you are not doomed by your past words. You are empowered by your intentionality today. Remember this fundamental truth: every word you speak becomes the soundtrack of your child's inner world. We do not have to be perfect parents, but we must be intentional. We must trade in the words that wound for the words that empower. Because when we commit to this profound shift in language, we give our children the greatest gift imaginable: the confidence to believe fully, wholeheartedly, and unreservedly in themselves. Let us commit to nurturing a generation defined by resilience, curiosity, deep emotional intelligence, and boundless self-belief. Let us use our words to build magnificent architectures of the soul. If this message has struck a chord, if it has provided even one actionable phrase you can implement tonight, please solidify your commitment. Make sure you are subscribed and hit the notification bell. Like this video to help others discover this truth. Comment below and tell us which of the 10 phrases you are transforming in your home. And finally, share this video with every single parent in your life. This is more than just a video. It is a movement toward a kinder, more conscious generation. Thank you for being here, and may your words always bring life and light.